we'll go right to item number 11, which is the annual report from our Traffic, Parking, and Safety Committee, and I believe Tom Hamilton is going to give that. No.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, city staff, my neighbors here in San Bruno. My name is Tom Hamilton. I am the new chair of the Traffic Safety and Parking Committee, or TSPC. And this is our annual report of what we've been up to over the past year. That one. All right. So our board is made up of myself, Jessica Barnes-Lopez, who's served as our chair for the past 2 years and has done a great job of running our meetings over the past couple of years. Mark Howard, Richard Sickwine, and we have an open spot. So if there's anyone in the community who would like to serve on the TSPC, please contact the city and get that rolling. We are supported very, very well by staff. Jimmy Tan, the Public Services Director, David Wong, our Associate Engineer, and Ryan Johansson, our representative from the Police Department. So each year we meet monthly to review and recommend actions to the City Council having to do with traffic calming or reducing speeding in your neighborhoods, parking issues, and other local traffic issues. And we also we review policies and programs affecting traffic and parking for City Council action. This includes, we have a parking restriction application process that's done through City Hall. We have a traffic calming toolkit that we adopted back in 2011 and some guidelines for crosswalk installation. Now these tools are really important because before we had these tools, we spent a lot of time in our monthly meetings talking about kind of the same thing over and over and over again every month when people would have specific requests. So we were able to really kind of streamline things, put in some basic rules so that everybody would understand. So, and it kind of reduced the number of requests because people would understand things that wouldn't pass because they are against the law or whatever. And it gave us a lot more time to focus on the bigger issues of traffic and parking that face our city. We meet monthly, the first Wednesday of every month in room 115 in City Hall. We also put out mailers, especially if there's an issue in your neighborhood that would affect you. You get the notices go out to the neighborhood, so you have a chance to come down to the meeting and participate. We have a page on the city website. And again, we meet each month. This past year, we had 86 residents and business owners come to our meetings, and there's a bunch of them there. So looking over this past year, we have a bunch of accomplishments in the next several slides. So we looked at and implemented additional red curbing for emergency vehicle access in the 5th edition. That's what that picture is there. That picture was actually taken during an emergency when the fire truck couldn't get through because of all of the parking on the corners. So we addressed that through the whole neighborhood. Some additional red curbing on various streets there as listed, and some 2 white curbs down in Bay Hill to accommodate commuter buses. We also looked at a new crosswalk installation on Amador and Lake, and another one on Angus and Huntington. We put up some additional signage in Lower San Bruno where to restrict and remind folks that commercial vehicle parking is not permitted in those neighborhoods. Basically, it didn't have an immediate effect of making all those trucks disappear, but it gave the police department additional leverage to be able to go out and cite and try to act on that. It's a continuing problem, but hopefully will be improved. We put in some additional signage at the intersection of Cherry and San Bruno, specifically no turn on red. Some pedestrian improvements at various intersections, 2nd and San Bruno Avenue, Angus and El Camino, and Cherry and Grundy, and some intersection improvements at Allen and College. every few years, I'm not sure what the actual schedule is, we have to review the citywide speed limits and make sure that they are in line with engineering and other factors on the ground so that the police can adequately enforce those speed limits. So there were 3 new speed limits established in the city as a result of that review. College Drive, Sneath, and Susan Drive as listed there. We had a couple of meetings, a couple of lively meetings, where we received public input regarding proposing parking restrictions, including parking permits in the 5th edition. And we gauged resident interest in the creation of a permit parking district in the 5th edition. That did not move forward due to resident outcry. But we're continuing to explore this, and as noted here in the next couple of bullets. So our goals for 2017 is to continue everything that I just described, reviewing various requests for parking restrictions, stop signs, and traffic calming, and basically anything having to do with traffic safety and parking issues here in the city. Pursuant to the last bullet I just mentioned, we're forming a joint subcommittee comprised of 2 members of the City Council and 2 members of my committee to address neighborhood parking congestion, looking at various tools, including parking permits and other possibilities to try to help with the parking problem that we have here in the city. And we'll continue to collect feedback from neighborhoods that have previously received some of the traffic calming measures to make sure that they're working and see if there's anything else that can be done to help there. So if you have an issue to bring before the TSPC, you can call the Department of Public Services at the number listed there, or go to the website and click a link there to send an email. To report traffic enforcement issues, you contact the police department at 616-7100, or there's an online traffic complaint form. I can't emphasize enough that works great. If there's a car that's been parked in your neighborhood for more than 72 hours, there was one in my neighborhood, it was tagged in less than 90 minutes once I put that form in there. So your results may vary, but it works really well. So that's the end of my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Tom this evening? Rico?
Through the chair. Chair Hamilton. Tom, I was just wondering, when somebody goes and uses that process in the toolbox and fills out the form, what do you, to your knowledge, what is the timeline or time frame in which a resident may hear something back? I know you guys meet the first Wednesday of the month, so it depends. But
it does depend, and depending on the issue itself. So oftentimes, if you're looking for a curb or something that's going to need to be reviewed by the council, the staff needs time to go out and do engineering, and they take pictures and they do reports and they bring it to us. It usually takes a couple months or more, depending on how many things are ahead of it in the queue. A lot of things can be done administratively, though, and don't need to come before the council, which was the purpose of the toolkit in the first place. So there's a lot of things that can be handled directly by the city without having to come before the TSPC. So it all depends on what you're asking for.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Great. Well, thank you, Tom, and I want to thank you and the members of your committee. And we'll get you that 5th person shortly. We'll work on it. But what a lot of people don't realize is all our boards, commissions, and committees are volunteer. They kind of work under the radar for the most part, and people don't realize they really are the life's blood of making the city run the way it does. So we really appreciate your efforts, and please pass that on to your members.
I sure will.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.